Welcome to the Experience Lab. I'm Sonia Rhodes, founder and CEO, and I'm also joined by our amazing team of Experience Catalysts today to welcome you and share our positive energy and gratitude for what you and your teams are doing to lead the way in these extraordinary times. Our Experience Lab is an incubator of ideas and accelerator for action, partnering with visionary healthcare systems in the exploration and design of a more human healthcare experience for everyone. We support these organizations in leading, looking, living, and loving their way to a new future for healthcare. And today, the lab is fully dedicated to supporting our partners and the industry in their pandemic experience response. At the heart of our work is our belief in this power of gathering, in coming together. And while most of our experience salons take place as small in-person gatherings, we're now extending the concept of a salon virtually. Our experience salons are inspired by 16th century Italian concepts where individuals gathered together to increase their collective knowledge through conversation. Now, to turn our collective attention to today's salon topic, let's begin with a simple reflection. This is a favorite of our guest today, and beautiful words from Michelle Obama, where she reminds us, you may not always have a comfortable life, and you will not always be able to solve all the world's problems at once, but don't ever underestimate the importance you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. I love that. Courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. I met our expert and exemplar and guest today, Diane Wolk-Rogers, in Edinburgh, Scotland, at a conference last summer. We sat down next to each other in a session, and it was the best seatmate I'd ever had in a conference. She was the embodiment of this idea that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. She's experienced the unthinkable and is now a living example of contagious courage and the demonstration every day of the beautiful way that hope is brought to life. Diane and her students are now guest faculty in the Experience Lab, frequently sharing their wisdom and expertise with our healthcare lab partners. And I am truly honored to welcome Diane Wolk-Rogers, AP history teacher and founder of the Mind Body Ambassadors Club at Marjory, Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Diane is going to share her insights on resilience in the new normal. Welcome, 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 Diane.
Hi there, Sonia. I just want to say how honored I am to be here and to share my story about hope and resiliency. I do want to thank the members of the healthcare systems for the sacrifices that you're all making to help humanity in this time of crisis. And I hold you in my heart knowing that those of you on the front line are having your own experiences of sadness, fear, and overwhelm as you take on these heroic measures during this very challenging time. So thank you for being courageous. And I'm telling my story to you today because I truly believe that hope is powerful medicine, and it's free and it's available to all of us if we're willing to take the time to find it in our hearts, even when the trauma is so deep it hurts to take a breath. See, I know all about that kind of trauma. I teach history at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. And on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2018, my school experienced one of the worst mass school shootings in American history. And people sometimes still ask me what I saw, what I heard. And I have to tell them, I don't remember everything, but I do know that that trauma of that day changed my life forever. We lost 17 precious lives on that horrible day. And after a week of all the funerals and mourning the deaths of my students and my colleagues, it was time to return to the classroom. It was time to return to what everyone was calling now the new normal. The thing is, with trauma and crisis that many of us are still experiencing right now due to the devastation and the uncertainty of the coronavirus, our limbic system, it kicks on a survival mode, and all these chemicals begin to flood our brain and our nervous system. And after the massacre, my brain, it didn't know whether to fight, whether to run, or whether to freeze. And I found myself cycling through all of these emotions, even in just one day. See, I've been teaching for over 30 years, and teaching's my passion, but following that horrific event, I questioned, how was I going to return to the classroom? How could I be an effective teacher if I couldn't find the calm in myself? Honestly, I didn't even want to wake up in the morning, but I knew I had to go back and show up for my students whose calling card, never again, gave me the strength to take over one of my dead colleagues, Scott Beagle's classroom, and hold space with his grieving students. I returned each day to the scene of the massacre, and I could just feel the anger poisoning my spirit. Honestly, and like I said, I didn't even want to wake up in the morning. So let's go back to hope, because I must have had one small ounce of that piece of hope left, because that summer, the Center for Mind-Body Medicine, led by Harvard-trained psychiatrist Dr. James Gordon out of Washington, D.C., it's one of the world's largest community-based psychological healing organizations, and they came to Parkland in Broward County, Florida. And the concept behind mind-body medicine is learning coping skills that focuses on how one's own mind, body, and spirit can work together to promote health and healing. So I took a risk, and I hoped that I could find something useful to help to bring back to my students in the fall. Little did I know that the first 4 days was for me. It was helping me by learning about self-care, self-awareness, and just learning to connect with people again. And once I completed the second week of advanced training, I began to feel this calm in myself that I hadn't felt since the shooting. And that's when it hit me. If I could find that calm, maybe I could help my students find it too. And that's when I decided to partner with the parent of one of my students, Ellen Fox Snyder, and together we formed the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Mind Body Ambassador Club. So that fall, I started by just approaching some of my most affected students. And these were students who still had shrapnel in them. These were students who had been talking to their best friends when they were shot dead right before their eyes. These were students who had stepped over the dead bodies of their classmates to get out of the classroom. And I just went up to them and I looked them directly in the eyes and I said, you guys are so resilient. I mean, this touches me deeply. You're here, you came back to school. And I'm just wondering, over the summer, I learned some tools that are helping me, and maybe they'll help you. And if they help you, then you can help your parents and your friends. And, you know, would you like to join me after school on a Wednesday for about 6 weeks and an hour and a half? And I'll teach you some meditation, imagery, and movement to try to, you know, heal. We can heal together. And they said yes. And I think that last part is the most important part, because instead of seeing my students as survivors or instead of seeing them as victims, I saw them as community leaders. And I thought that if I could start by training just a few of the students, they could mobilize to help train others, a ripple effect, all in the hope of helping our scarred community heal. And so now we have over 70 trained student ambassadors. Our district has embraced our model and is actively spreading it to other schools. And my students have not only taught their skills to peers and to their teachers and to their parents, but also to members in the healthcare community. So yes, trauma changes life forever, but I've learned that by embracing this process of healing, I can gain a greater awareness that's leading to this greater appreciation for life and this personal growth that I see is kind of bringing a contagious joy to others. And now with this coronavirus going around and the whole world is grieving together, I see great possibilities that every person in this world is connected. We're all in this together, and we have this chance to collectively experience the beauty of post-traumatic growth after the crisis is over. And I really believe that resiliency begins with self-care. And that means amidst all of this chaos, and as you're trying to adjust to this new normal, you give yourself permission to take an emotional time out. And one of my favorite ways of doing that is using imagery to relax. Imagery brings about physiological changes because it activates parts of our brain that's virtually identical to those you experience in a real situation, where you're actually seeing, hearing, or smelling. We can use imagery to engage the parasympathetic nervous system and reduce our stress response. We can improve our immune functioning, and research has actually shown that the usefulness of imagery in lowering blood pressure, slowing down, improving the heart rate, decreasing anxiety, improving mood, and reducing symptoms of PTSD. And just as negative images provoke fear and distress, positive images can bring about warmth, relaxation, peace, love, and connectedness. So now what I'd like to do, I'd like to invite you all to just kind of join me in a brief experiment and allow me to guide you to a place of calm and safety. So go ahead and find a comfortable place to sit down. Now let's just all take a few breaths and allow your attention to move your breathing. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you breathe in, feel your lungs comfortably, and breathing out any unnecessary tension. Your eyes can be open or shut, whatever is most comfortable for you. If you choose to leave your eyes open, perhaps look downward to allow yourself to be in your own place. If you wish, you may want to use the word soft as you breathe in and belly as you breathe out. With your next breath, imagine yourself in a very special place. It could be a real place, a place you may have actually been, a beautiful spot in nature, or a comforting place in your own home. Your special place may be an imaginary place, or a place you have dreamed of visiting, indoors or outdoors. It doesn't really matter. Should more than one place come to mind, allow yourself to stay with one of them. The only thing that matters is that it is a place in which you are completely comfortable, relaxed, and a place you can enjoy. Appreciate the scene with all of your senses. Hear the sounds that surround you. On the next breath in, you may smell pleasant aromas. Feel the air as it touches your skin, adjusting the temperature to make sure it's just the way you want it to be. Experience the ground securely under you. Touch and feel the whole environment that you are in. Notice the colors that surround you and your favorite ones. Notice what you are wearing. Notice what you have on your feet. What time of year is it? What time of day? How old are you? Perhaps you are alone or with another person or even a comforting animal. Next, pay attention to the lighting. adjusting it to just the right amount of life that is comfortable for you now. Notice all the qualities of the place that make it special and comfortable. If there are any sounds that are getting in the way of being comfortable, you can turn this down and let them fade away. If there are any sounds that are enjoyable to you, you can pay attention to them and also turn them up, just the right level of sound. Now pay attention to see if there's anything else you'd like to change in your place to help you become even more calm, safe, and peaceful. You can make any changes that you want since this is your place. Perhaps you remove something, or you can bring something into it. Let yourself enjoy the comfort that you're experiencing right now. And now thank yourself for taking this time for yourself, and reassuring yourself that you can visit this place again and again, maybe right before bed or whenever you need to. Bring back that feelings of comfort and safety and warmth. And when you're ready, at your own pace, let your breathing deepen. Bring your awareness of your body against the chair. Begin to gently open your eyes if they were closed, feeling alert and energized. It's a simple tool. You don't have to, be a psychologist, and you don't have to go through years of medical school and training. That my students are able to use these skills, and I'm able to use these skills just to take that emotional time out. And my big emphasis, especially for all the healthcare workers that are out there, self-care. You can't take care of other people if you don't take care of yourself. So please, whatever tools, and maybe the first time didn't work for you, and I tell that to my students. It might be something that you need to try again at a different time or a different place, and that's okay too. But find something that helps you to take care of yourself. That's the real message of today.
So fantastic. And Diane, I just want to say thank you for sharing your experience with us, sharing your wisdom. We're talking to healthcare systems every day. We're hearing the words PTSD, moral distress, fear, and knowing that you and your amazing students have gone through what was unthinkable and found tools and skills that are helping you every day, and that those are tools and skills that you can share and are sharing so freely is such an absolute gift. Thank you, Diane, for making time, for thinking with us, for guiding us, and for reminding us that courage is contagious and that hope is powerful medicine. We are sending all of you off with our gratitude, with our love, with our positive energy, and we do hope to see you here again in the virtual experience salon. Mad love and be safe.
Sending peace and love. Bye-bye.
Bye.